I think the number one quality is to have compassion and to believe wholeheartedly in evolving or the ability to change. Meaning, let's not just do it the way we've always done it, because that's the good old days and that's the way we always done it. I talk to a lot of retired people that think we should do it like the good old days. And the good old days weren't good for everybody. And so I think, somebody that has their heart in the right place, has compassion, and wants to be here. This isn't a stepping stone. This isn't something like that. They want to serve Sacramento and serve the members of this department, because both deserve a leader that really, truly cares about this community and this department. And too often in society all over our country right now and in our city, there are people that don't think you can be both. Don't think you can care for this community and be a police officer, for this community and care for the police department. Well, I'm living proof. I love this city and I love this police department. I love being a black man and I love being a police officer. You can be both. This division that we have going on across our country that has risen to higher heights over the last couple of years will never work. It has never worked in the history of the world. It will not work now. We have got to come together and start listening to each other and figuring out ways to move forward, because we are leaving people behind. We've always left people behind. And we've got to stop doing that, or we're going to continue to see protests in our street. We're going to continue to see people who haven't fulfilled the lives that they have the potential to fill. We're going to leave neighborhoods behind, like the neighborhood I grew up in. And it's time we stop doing that. We have an opportunity right now that every day is an opportunity, but every so often you have a better opportunity. Right now, people are paying attention. People are talking about it. And if this opportunity goes by like so many opportunities have in the past, we're going to continue a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, see the same sort of protests in the street.
Well, I just think continue to evolve and continue to not only evolve in the profession of law enforcement. Law enforcement is a whole criminal justice system that doesn't only include the police officers on the street. It includes so much more just in the police department, from professional staff to law enforcement. But there's corrections, the sheriff's departments for the jails, the district attorneys, the public defender, and so many parts in that historically have had some challenges. Historically have had some equity issues. And so I think the police chief in Sacramento has a large voice and has a significant amount of influence and power. So they have to be somebody that, not necessarily publicly and politically, but behind closed doors and in meetings and amongst all the partners within the criminal justice system, have to advocate for a system that does whatever it can to lift people up and to ensure that, if they do get arrested when they come out, hopefully they're better than when they went in. But also the police chief, with that influence, has the ability to influence things outside of the criminal justice system, because so much of what we talk about in terms of law enforcement and community relations and the criminal justice system as its role in larger society has to do with a lot of other things outside of law enforcement, whether it's housing, equity, zoning, education, and all these other things. And as police chief in the capital city of the state of California, you can influence those sort of things. I've often talked about, even before I was police chief, about if we need 100 officers, and the way to get there is to reduce like the parks and recreation budget, that's not a good idea, because so many things play a role into public safety in our community. And so the police chief is an influential figure in this community, and I would hope that the next police chief feels that same way. And when they have the opportunity to lend perspective and ideas, even outside of law enforcement, they do. I could always go over little things here and there that we could have done differently, and the things that come to mind the most is probably communication. especially internally, because in any large organization, communication is an issue just naturally. And when you're going through really tough times, it's important to keep the morale and things of the members that are walking out onto that skirmish line, are getting things thrown at them, unknown chemicals sprayed on them, standing between groups like Proud Boys and Antifa that are, their whole goal is to fight each other and punch each other. And our people every day stood on that line. So I would say most of the stuff revolves probably around communication, but in hindsight, I don't know that I would change much of anything in terms of what we've done as a department because of this. Everything that has happened, I think we've utilized to make us better. So even when we made mistakes, we didn't just make a mistake and move on. We used it to get better. If you look at things like how we release video footage, and the fact that we even have video footage. We didn't have body cameras 4 years ago. We didn't release video 4 years ago at all. And now we do. And we had some hard lessons at the beginning of when we first started releasing it and when we first got body cameras. And we learned from those. And so I think we're in a good spot now because we were willing to learn from those. Oh yeah, I think we do a lot to connect with the community. Now obviously COVID was a big challenge to that when you can't go in person and meet people. But we have met with, we're starting to get back to that now that COVID's waning. But we also did stuff, I taught history and bias on Zoom in community environments. And this department continues to do recruiting and all sorts of other things. But there's no doubt that COVID, challenged all of us in relationship ways. Because that's what building trust in the community is building relationships.